Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would know that the title of tonight's show is Blaze a New Trail. And the reason why you might be in the mood to blaze a new trail in the next week or even in the next month is because there are 3 dynamic planets in Aries, the sign of new beginnings, which is a fire sign. Mars is there now, and Mars rules the sign, so it's very strong, and it is conjuncting Uranus, the planet of sudden change and genius and things ahead of their time. Those 2 planets are called malefic planets because they can also represent somebody who sort of wants to be on the warpath, or simply wants to cause trouble. Or if they're using their energy constructively, they can be blazing a new trail, since Aries does rule new starts. The 3rd planet that's in the sign of Aries is the passive moon. But when the moon is in a fire sign, it can stir up emotions. And so you need to be aware that there can be people around whose emotions are heightened right now. And in fact, you need to watch out for somebody who could be boiling over a little bit, or could be angry or impulsive or very volatile. By itself, you need to look out for volatile situations in your life and try to pull back a little bit from them so that you don't get hurt. The reason why you might feel like blazing a new trail right now is because there can be some question about funding or financing in your life. And the reason why we can all be concerned with that is because the rulers of Scorpio, which rule other people's money or money coming in from any other source. So Scorpio rules inheritance, insurance proceeds, grants and scholarships, or it rules credit, taxes, and loans as well. And it covers the whole insurance industry, the medical field, and the military. And the reason why, even though the sign of Scorpio is well aspected, its rulers are not. And that is because that dynamic Mars and Uranus and the moon in Aries are all being squared by Pluto in Capricorn, which represents people in high positions who are in charge of things at government agencies or large corporations, and they make policies particularly about long-term security, because Capricorn rules pension funds and entitlement programs like Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. But because Mars and Pluto are squaring each other, it simply means that people can be feeling like blazing a new trail very quickly, because perhaps there just isn't enough money around, or their funding is cut for one reason or another. So all of us can be a little threatened right now by things or people that are moving too quickly. And yet, if funding is cut off for you and you want to start off in a new direction, you'll have plenty of energy to do that, because Aries is just loaded with energetic planets right now. However, if you want to instead rely on help behind the scenes to solve a financial problem of yours, you could do that, because right behind the sign of Aries are 4 wonderful planets in Pisces. And Pisces does rule hidden things, or things behind the scenes. So the Sun and Venus are now in Pisces, and Mercury, which is retrograde, and Neptune are there as well. These are all rather idealistic, benign planets. And Mercury is about to go direct in 3 more days on St. Patrick's Day. So there can be some news that has been delayed, and you could learn about that behind the scenes, and maybe that could help you with a financial problem right now. Because those 4 planets in Pisces are being trined by that stable Saturn in Scorpio. And when Venus and Saturn trine each other, it simply means that loyal friends do back each other up. Or there can simply be resources around that could come from older people, or money that had been sort of sitting around for a while could be made available to help you blaze a new trail or to help you solve problems behind the scenes. So I hope you sort of look around right now and ask your friends for information or help, or try to rely on your relatives, because this is a time when people, particularly family members, could pull together really well. Saturn in Scorpio is being fortified as well, not just by the 4 planets in Pisces, but Saturn is at 11 degrees in Scorpio, and that Pluto in Capricorn is also at 11 degrees. And that still means that there is a steady hand on the helm, that people who are in charge and are very experienced and have a good reputation in the community are perhaps befuddled right now by financial challenges, but they still can be in an excellent position to try to help people. The bottom line, though, is that there isn't enough funding to pay for everything. And yet everyone is in the same boat. And so if you want to blaze a new trail and you can get a little bit of funding for that, or if you just wanted to get a part-time job, the planets in Aries are sextile Jupiter in Gemini, which rules temporary or part-time work. So that is well aspected. So there are different ways for you to handle a financial challenge right now. The important thing to remember, though, is that there can be danger, and that is because those 3 planets in Aries, which are sort of able to take off like a little shot, are opposing the sign of Libra, which rules partnership and contracts, and that simply means that there could be a partnership which is cut off or severed now, or a contract that is broken, and that could allow somebody to go on their own way to blaze a trail, a new trail by themselves, not in partnership with anybody. And that is completely possible right now too. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, I think you are going to be blazing a new trail for sure, Aries, and it would allow you a little bit more freedom, which is wonderful. And of course, you may be financially motivated, Aries, because the 3 planets, Mars, Uranus, and the moon in your sign, are all being squared by Pluto in Capricorn. And that simply means that management cannot cover all its bases right now, or long-term programs that have to deal with security can be in jeopardy in one way or another, and you could really be affected by that, Aries, since Pluto is squaring Mars in your sign, and it is so strong in your sign. So I don't think you're going to take no for an answer from anybody, Aries. And I think that if there are partnership problems, particularly financial problems with a partner or a contract, I think that you are about ready to just go in a new direction, and you may need to do that, Aries. And that is because not everybody can afford things anymore, and so there would be cuts somewhere. And even if you were cut back, I think that you would certainly have the energy and the enthusiasm to blaze a new trail and successfully go in a new direction. So I urge you to give that a try. All right, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, I think you need to be really careful right now, because there are 3 malefic planets, Mars, Uranus, and Saturn, and all 3 of them are affecting your sign, Taurus. The thing is that 2 of them are affecting your sign behind the scenes, and that is because Aries is right behind your sign, and that's where Mars and Uranus are conjuncting. That can be a very volatile combination, and the moon is there as well. So in the background of your life, somebody's passions are being stirred up, or somebody has financial problems, or somebody wants to make a play for something, and they are determined to do that, and that could adversely affect you. It could certainly throw you off balance, Taurus. It wouldn't necessarily show in your everyday life, but it is showing in the background of your life, and it does represent volatility and sudden change, which I hope you guard against. The other planet that is a malefic planet that is threatening your sign right now is Saturn in Scorpio, which is very well aspected because it's being trine by all those Pisces planets, but it is opposing your sun sign. And that means that expenses can be high and revenues can be lower than you expect. And that is why you're going to have to be on your guard right now. You may not want to blaze a new trail, but if somebody else is doing that, they could leave you with a bunch of bills, or they could leave you a little bit short in one way or another. And that's why you need to proceed very carefully and simply guard what you've got right now, Taurus. If you didn't make forward progress, that would be all right, because what would be more important is that you don't lose anything right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is a time when you really are on your own, because there's nothing in Libra and there's nothing in Aquarius trining your sun, but you do have Jupiter in your sun sign, Gemini, and that can make you optimistic and outgoing. And the 3 planets in Aries do sextile your sun, meaning that if somebody else wanted to go off and blaze a new trail, that could leave an opening for you, Gemini. You could either go with them, or you could fill their vacant spot. Or it could simply mean that you might be very interested in taking on an additional temporary duty or project, and that would be exciting. You don't know where it would lead, because Aries rules new beginnings. It doesn't have anything to do with finishing anything. But because that sign is loaded right now with energetic planets, and they sextile your own, in the combination with the Jupiter that's in your sun sign, you could be very lucky to be in the right place at the right time when somebody decides to try something new. And I think you ought to go for it, Gemini, because you could be very bored where you are, and you could be feeling a little unloved and unappreciated, because the 4 planets in Pisces are all squaring your sun. So I think that communication can be mixed right now, and that people can have differing opinions about you, and that's why you ought to look for a new trail to blaze. It would give you something wonderful and refreshing to do. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is simply a time when you need to remember 2 things, Cancer. One of them, which I think is most important to you, is that the basic foundation of your life is not being threatened in any way whatsoever. And that is because you've got so many good planets trining your sun. Saturn in Scorpio is trining your sun and will be for the next 2 years, which indicates that you do have financial support behind you, and it's not going anywhere. It's not being threatened. There won't be any shortage of funding in that, because it's already in place and probably has been for a while. Then the 4 planets, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and Neptune in Pisces, are also trining your sun, meaning that you can have loving help and a lot of loyalty from people and family members behind the scenes. So the first thing you need to remember is that your basic foundation is solid and it is not being threatened in any way. Hold the thought, Cancer, because other things can be very upsetting right now in your life, and it doesn't mean it's happening to you, but it certainly could be happening around you. And that is because the moon, your own ruler, and Mars and Uranus in Aries are all squaring your sun. And that means somebody could even sort of go off the deep end. They could do something a little crazy or erratic or very harmful right now, and that could affect your everyday life. Also, Pluto in Capricorn is opposing your sun, which means that management is under duress right now, and they realize there isn't enough funding, and that could affect you in one way or another. Not the basic foundation of your life, but if you had been looking for additional money to be coming in, I think it's going to be either slim or none, Cancer. However, remember, you still have backup that isn't going anywhere that can be supporting you. So be on guard for volatile situations that can be threatening, or people who can be threatening right now, and try to stay away from them. And yet you can be assured that no one's really taking away anything that is basic to your life. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is simply a time when a door could really open very quickly for you, Leo. And the reason why is the moon, Mars, and Uranus are in Aries, and they're all trining your sun, Leo. So if somebody does want to blaze a new trail and go in a new direction, they could either want to take you with them, Leo, and I think you should go and consider that, or else as they leave, you can sort of fill a vacancy that they have created, and that could open up all kinds of opportunities for you and for Sagittarius. So this is a good time to be on the lookout for some sort of new opening right now, Leo, because I think there is one around. It really could be the direct result of a lack of funding. Not for you, but for someone else. In fact, everybody who wants to sort of make a new start is either going to do it because they have to or because they want to, and it will be financially related right now. And for that reason, I think there is an opportunity for you to move forward, but you sure have to ask who's going to be paying you or where the money is, and I wouldn't count it until it's in your hand, Leo, because Saturn in Scorpio is going to be squaring your sun for the next 2 years. So I would proceed carefully, but also I think you should be open to some sort of new start right now. And if you want to go along with somebody else who's blazing a new trail, they would appreciate that because of your expertise and your leadership. And so I think that you've got a shot at something right now that you could go in a new direction, Leo, and I hope you consider it. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when you need to be very, very careful as well. Not necessarily because your finances are being threatened, but because you've had staunch support from management or people that are way up in the community, and they have really appreciated all of your efforts and your reliability and the way you are so dutiful. In fact, you can be relied on so much right now, Virgo, that you can be taken for granted by a lot of people. And they can be saying, oh, Virgo will do this, or Virgo will be there, or give the extra job to a Virgo. And of course, you're used to that, aren't you, Virgo? So you would continue on with a heavy sense of responsibility, and that would be great. But the people who generally would appreciate you for that are under duress right now. They're really worried about a lot of things. And so you can go ahead and support them, which I think you will do, but you may not get a lot of feedback for that right now because they've got bigger problems to solve. And so if I were you, Virgo, I'd sort of stick to doing the same old thing. You can't go wrong with that, and you won't be threatened. Other people can be very volatile right now. You just need to stay away from them, and anybody who's looking even a little bit angry, if you see them, run the other way, Virgo, because yours is a logical, practical sign, and this is becoming a volatile time. And I think that when the dust settles, we will need good problem solvers like you. So you need to just take care of yourself and guard your health right now and all your financial resources, and sort of lay low if you can, Virgo, and keep working hard. Even if you're being taken for granted, your good efforts will add up over time, and you'll get your reward sooner or later. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, I think you just have to face the fact that life is not the same anymore. And it is because there can be somebody who wants to blaze a new trail. They could want everything their own way, and there's only so much you can do to placate them or to compromise or to negotiate. And sooner or later, they're not going to be in a negotiating mood, particularly not if they want it all their own way, because where will you fit in, Libra? You won't. And so there is the possibility that there could be a broken partnership or a broken contract coming up. When it happens, it will happen very fast. It will be severed or cut off immediately, and you will just have to turn and pivot and go in a new direction. Luckily, Jupiter is in Gemini, trining your sun. If I were you, Libra, I'd start looking for other avenues or other sources of income or other things to do right now. Even if you only started a part-time project and it was only 1 day a week, who knows where it would lead. But your good luck is going to come from easy things or easy transitions or changes that you make. Not big changes, but little ones in your neighborhood or in your vicinity. And you can get backed up by people like that as well. So I think you are going to need to go in a new direction, Libra, but between now and June, you're going to have some help with that. So I wish you the best of luck. Okay, what does it mean to Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, Your sun sign is being beautifully fortified by those 4 planets in Pisces. And since it is the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and Neptune that are trining your sun where you have Saturn, it means that loyal friends are all around you, and particularly behind the scenes, you are very popular, and that you can get a lot of emotional support from others, and you can be solidifying your base as well. So that's fine. You could also be getting some very good delayed news that can come about next week when Mercury goes direct in Pisces, and that could involve a financial matter, particularly news about some delayed financial resources that can be coming your way, such as in an inheritance or grants or something like that, which is good. But Scorpio, your rulers are not being well aspected right now, and that makes you vulnerable. Mars and Uranus and the moon in Aries are all squaring Pluto in Capricorn, and so you may be asked to sort of hold somebody else up or to make an extra effort for people who are at the top to help them out in one way or another. So this is a time when you might be a little tired by doing too much, but it would be aimed at people who really need to steady the ship right now. So be a good teammate right now, Scorpio, and do your best, because you yourself are not being threatened, but the people that you rely upon or you respect or you work with are. They have a lot of problem because they don't have enough funding. Even though you do, you need to support them right now, not financially, but loyally. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, this is a wonderful time for you to take advantage of a new opportunity, and it can be with somebody else who's blazing a new trail. And that is because the moon, Mars, and Uranus in Aries are all trying your sun, Sagittarius, and you need a little good luck right now, or you need a shot in the arm, or you just need to be busy right now, busier than you have been. And you're going to get a chance for that, Sagittarius, because I think somebody is going to open a door for you, and all you have to do is hurry up and run through it, because they're going to be in a hurry too. So I think you're about to get real busy. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is simply a time when I feel that you really are under duress, and that some new beginning is not working out the way that you thought it would. And it doesn't mean that it's a new beginning that just happened. It might be something that's about to happen. But if you have been involved in a new endeavor this year, I think that you can be actually overcome with the arrogance or the demands that other people are making right now, and you could be a little fed up with that. That is because Mars, Uranus, and the moon are all squaring your sun sign right now, and that is putting a lot of pressure on you, Capricorn. And there are no planets in the other earth signs. You're sort of on your own. You have backup from Saturn and Scorpio, but that still isn't enough. That's just to keep you afloat. So if you have a funding problem, or if your long-term security is being threatened in any way, which I think it is, you need to proceed very carefully. And if I were you, I would just cut back on things right now. Try not to argue with anybody, Capricorn, because somebody else has more force, and they certainly have a shorter fuse than you do. Capricorns are rather reasonable people, but you could be coming up and you could be challenged by people who are very argumentative and even violent right now. And that is why I don't think that something is going well for you, but I urge you to sort of withdraw if you can. Live to fight another day, Capricorn, because you could be overwhelmed right now if you confront anybody, so I hope you don't. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, there are 7 planets right ahead of your sun sign, 4 in Pisces and the 3 in Aries. The 4 in Pisces are benign and idealistic and loving, and the 3 in Pisces, particularly Mars and in Aries, particularly Mars and Uranus in Aries, are very combative and volatile and subject to change very suddenly. So you could see a whole arena of things going on, and right in front of you, Aquarius, and I'm telling you, if you jump in, you're going to drown right now. You need to hold back too. The reason why is that you would be much safer if you would just take one small step at a time. It means that you'll still get to where you're going, but I wouldn't jump off the deep end right now, or I wouldn't join somebody who's blazing a new trail, Aquarius. You do not know where that's going, and you don't know exactly what their motivation is, although it's financially motivated, and it means they're either broke or they're financially strapped in one way or another. And that's why they may not be a good partner for you. So take small steps and try to work on part-time or temporary things, because Jupiter in Gemini is trining your sun. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time when you can be doing everything right, but right in front of you there can be other people who are wanting to pressure you, or else they themselves are feeling pressured or angry and quite willing to go in a new direction and blaze a new trail. They may not be working at the same speed you are though, Pisces, and you have backup. You have loyal friends, since the 4 planets in your sign are being trined by Saturn in Scorpio. And so if you wanted to solve any problems, whether they are financially motivated or they involve relationships right now, I would fall back on old friends and people that you respect, or who are older or more experienced than you are, or even relatives that are older, because they would be more than willing to help you, Pisces. Just don't jump in, and be very, very aware of things that are going too fast right now, Pisces, because if somebody's trying to make you go too fast, you could get tripped up. So it's safety first. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week. And remember, you can see the show at any time on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.